Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential, and today we're taking a closer look at the Janome MyLock 454D Overlocker. Just one of a wide range of overlocker and cover stitch machines available to buy on our site sewessential.co.uk. At Sew Essential, we pride ourselves on using our expert knowledge to help you find the perfect machine for you. And that's why we've made this video, but we're also always here to support you by phone or email too. The Janome MyLock 454D is the next model up from the Janome 9300DX and has all the same benefits as that machine, plus it has an improved fabric feed system and bi-level performance, which is designed to help the machine glide over multiple layers of fabric more easily. It also has additional texture on the bottom of the foot to prevent fabric slippage and help with that fabric feed. Plus, it has an easier to thread lower looper thanks to the drop down system. The same as the 9300DX, it has a retractable knife so that you can choose whether you want to cut the edge of the fabric or not. Differential feed so that you can choose to compress or stretch the fabric as you sew. A thread cutter on the side of the machine, which you don't always get with machines in other brands at this level, and the ability to sew with 4 or 3 threads to create a range of stitches, including 4 thread overlocking stitches, 3 thread overlocking stitches and rolled hems amongst others. It also has a colour-coded threading system as well to make things nice and simple. I'll pop a link in the corner of the screen so you can visit our website, take a closer look at the machine and purchase it there. At the end of the video, we'll take a closer look at what's in the box, but now let's get started by taking a closer look at what this brilliant overlocker can do for you. We're going to start by threading the machine, and to thread the machine you want to go from right to left. So we're going to thread the lower looper, then the upper looper, then the right needle, then the left needle. And to start doing that, we're going to extend the telescopic thread guide up like so. And then you want to take your thread from back to front through the guide at the top there. And then if you want to give it extra security, you can pass it through the second thread guide. You don't have to do this, but you have got that as an option if you want to. I always do it because I think it just makes sure everything's nice and secure. And then on the top of the machine here, you want to click the thread through the thread guide there. You should always make sure your press the foot is in the up position for threading. To continue threading the lower looper, we just need to bring the thread down through the opening on the top and the front of the machine, past the tension dial and through the tension guides. And then you want to slot the thread behind the metal guide here on the front of the machine. And then all of the points you need to pass the thread through for the lower looper are marked green. So we want to take it through that first one here, the next one here, and the next one here. So you just simply slot that behind that guide there, like so. And then pass the thread through the next one from right to left, and the next one from top to bottom. And then turn the hand wheel towards you. If your lower looper isn't visible like this, turn the hand wheel towards you till your lower looper is visible. And then you just need to push this thread guide up. And when I push that up, you'll see a couple of hooks drop down that I need to pass the thread through. So I'm just going to push that up. And you can see there we need to access that hook marked green and that hook at the top, pass the thread through those and then through the eye of the needle. So then we're going to pass the thread behind the green hook, behind the hook at the top, and then we just want to pass it through the eye of the needle from front to back, exactly the same as you would with a sewing machine. Just pop it through that hole. And the lower looper is now completely threaded. And then you just want to return those 2 hooks back inside the machine, so you can either push this lever down or you can turn the hand wheel towards you and that will put them back inside the machine. And then I would usually pass the thread through the gap between the upper and lower looper just here. Just pass that thread through there and take it to the back of the machine so it's out of the way and it won't get tangled. To thread the upper looper, we've followed exactly the same process on the top of the machine through the telescopic thread guide and the various guides on the top, through the tension discs and then behind the metal guide here. And then there are less points to pass the thread through for the upper looper. They're marked in red, so it's colour coded again to make things nice and easy. So we want to pass it through this red guide here, behind the guide here, and then through the eye of the upper looper needle. So I'm just going to pass the thread through that first guide from right to left again. Pull that through. And then we want to slot the thread behind the thread guide here at the top, like so. And then the final step is just threading the eye of the looper, same as you would with your sewing machine, just passing the thread from the front to the back. I can just grab that with my tweezers and pull it through. And there we go, the upper looper is now threaded. To thread the right needle, we've followed exactly the same path at the top of the machine again, and then we're going to take the thread under this cover here and then under this metal piece here, and there's a hook there, it should be behind that. And then you want to take it up and over the take-up lever from right to left. There's a thread guide at the front of the machine here, and there's a side for the left needle and then the right needle. So pass the thread into the guide for the right needle. Pass the thread behind the guide on the front of the needle bar. So it's very, very similar to threading your sewing machine in terms of the needles. And then you just want to pass the thread through the eye of the needle in the usual way, and you can just grab that with your tweezers and the needle is threaded. And then to thread the left needle, we're going to follow exactly the same path under the metal guide, up and over the take-up lever from right to left, through the left-hand guide this time for the left needle, and behind the guide on the needle bar. And then we're going to thread the needle in the usual way. And then once we've got both needles threaded, I would take the threads under the arm of the machine here and to the back of the machine. But we are now set up for a 4-thread overlocking stitch. Okay, so let's take a look at that 4-thread overlocking stitch in action now. And I just want to point out here that you've got these useful markings so that you can line the edge of your fabric up if you want to sew with a certain seam allowance. So that's really useful when you're doing garment construction. Not all overlockers actually have that 5/8 mark. They might have a line, but they won't tell you what the seam allowance is. And I just find that really helpful and useful. But let's go ahead now and sew some of this cotton jersey fabric. I've just used the thread cutter on the side of the machine, which is nice and handy, but you can see there we have got the most beautiful even stitches, so neat. We've got the upper looper thread in red on the top there, and then we've got the lower looper thread in green on the bottom there, and it's just lovely and neat. But I also want to show you the real capabilities of this machine. So it's called the sailing line because it is designed to sew more smoothly. It has a superior feed dog system and byline performance, so it is designed to work with multiple layers of fabric and feed them through more smoothly. It's got extra grips on the bottom of the foot, and it's also got this curvature on the foot as well to help that fabric feed through easily at the start. And to demonstrate this, I'm just going to take a piece of denim and fold it over so the machine has to get over those multiple layers of fabric, and we'll put that through and see how that performs. And you can see there it had no trouble at all producing those beautiful neat stitches once again on thick denim this time, and I haven't changed any of the settings on the machine, I should add. And then on the back as well, you can see it just got over that bulky bumpy denim, no problem at all. And that is going to be so useful when you're doing things like sewing shoulder seams where you've got that bulk and those multiple layers of fabric to get over. It's wonderful how easily it glides across them. You can also sew a 3-thread overlocking stitch on the MyLock 454, and this is generally used on more delicate fabrics. I wouldn't usually use this for seam construction, but finishing seams on things like viscose, cotton lawn, linen, lightweight linen, that sort of thing. It's just a nice, pretty, delicate stitch. So I've got some cotton here. Let's go ahead and sew that. And to set the machine up for this stitch, all I've done is remove the left needle and the left thread. So I've just got my right needle in and my upper and lower looper. So it was really easy to convert from that 4-thread overlocking stitch, which is a stronger stitch, better for construction of seams, like I said, and thicker and heavier fabrics. And then it's really easy to convert to this 3-thread overlocking stitch. That's a narrow 3-thread overlocking stitch, just by removing that left needle and left thread. And you can see we've got lovely, neat results there again. And on the back you can see those lower looper threads as well. Once the Janome MyLock 454 is set up for that narrow 3-thread overlocking stitch, it's very easy to convert to a 3-thread rolled hem. To do this, we open the front cover of the machine, we open the side cover of the machine, and the first thing we need to do is just disengage the blade. And to do this, we push this dial in and turn it towards us, and you can see that blade has now dropped down beneath the surface of the machine. And that's useful to know because sometimes you might not want to trim the edge of your fabric, you might just want to sew the stitches, and if that's the case, that is how you disengage the blade. And I also think it feels very easy to do with this dial as well. On some models there's a metal piece here that you turn towards you. This just feels sturdier and larger and a bit easier to me, so that's quite a nice feature of this machine. And then to move it into rolled hem mode, we just push the cutting width adjustment dial in and we slide this red marker down to R for rolled hem sewing. And that just helps the machine to create a lovely rolled edge to the fabric. The cutting width adjustment dial is also used if you find that the cutting width is too narrow or too wide. So if it's too narrow and you find that you've got threads overhanging the edge of the fabric, you just turn the dial towards you and that will move the blade to the right. If you're finding that the cutting width is too wide and you want to reduce it, you move the dial away from you and that will move the blade in the other direction. But for now, we just want to re-engage that blade, close the covers, and we're ready to sew a 3-thread rolled hem. Now, I have adjusted the thread tension as well, the differential feed and the stitch length, but all of that information is in the manual for you. It's all very easy to understand, very clear the way it's set out, and you get a printed copy of the manual when you purchase this machine from us. So check out the links below if you want to view the machine on our website and purchase it from us. So let's go ahead and sew that lovely rolled hem, and this is traditionally a decorative stitch to finish the raw edge of your fabric, usually used on lighter weight fabrics, things like chiffons and satins and crepe de chines or lightweight cottons. I've got some cotton fabric here and I'm just going to go ahead and sew that. And you can see there you've got that lovely pretty finish, and it gets the name rolled edge or rolled hem because it does slightly roll the fabric at the edges, and you will see this often used on things like chiffon scarves, but I like to use it on things like ruffles as well, where I think a narrow hem and pressing the fabric under might be a bit bulky. It's just a nice alternative and a pretty way to finish the edge of that fabric. And then you can even run some stitches off and use the chain of stitches for things like little belt loops, or to create little loops to keep bra straps in place inside blouses and dresses and things. So it really is quite a useful stitch to have, and I certainly use it in my sewing quite regularly. It's also very easy when the machine's set up for the 3-thread sewing to sew Pintuck. So again, you need to make some changes to your thread tensions, your stitch length and also your differential feed, but all of that information is in the manual that you get when you purchase the machine from us. But to sew really cute Pintucks, you just fold your fabric over, and I'm going to do this very roughly, but obviously you could take more time. And then you just line the fabric up with one of the markings on the needle plate and sew that folded edge, and you will be able to create a lovely neat Pintuck. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew that now. And this is one of those times when you want your blade disengaged as well. So I've got that disengaged, but that's what the stitch looks like. But then if we open it out and press it flat, that will give you a lovely Pintuck. And then you can create parallel lines along the fabric to create multiple Pintucks, which is great, a great way of embellishing garments. So if you wanted to create another one, you'd just fold the fabric again. Obviously, again, you could do this much more neatly than me. You could take time and measure and mark things properly, but I'm just doing it very roughly. But let's go ahead and sew another Pintuck. And you can see that effect starting to build up now. I've sewn those quite far apart, but you could do it more closely together. But if you press the fabric there, you start to get that lovely Pintuck effect. In the manual, it gives you detailed instructions for recommended settings for the different stitches, but I thought it would just be useful to have a quick walk round of the machine, a quick reminder of where everything is. So up here we have the stitch length dial, so you can increase or decrease the stitch length. We have the differential feed, which allows you to compress the fabric as it feeds through the machine for things like gathering, or you can deliberately stretch the fabric as it feeds through the machine to create a lettuce edge. The hand wheel, and then inside the side cover here, we've got the blade engagement and disengagement dial and the width cutting adjustment dial here. We've also got the lever that you use to select whether you want to sew a rolled hem or a standard stitch. And then on the top of the machine, we've got the tension dials for the 2 needles and the 2 loopers, and you just increase or decrease those in the usual way. And there are recommendations for the different techniques in the manual. And then we've also got the presser foot pressure dial here, so you can adjust that as well. So if you're impressed with all the amazing features of this brilliant machine and you'd like to purchase it, just click the link in the corner of the screen to visit our website, take a closer look and purchase it there. In the box you'll find everything you would expect, a detailed instruction manual full of tips and instructions, the foot control, some tweezers, some spare needles, screwdrivers, everything you need to get started. Then if you want to take your sewing even further, there's a wide range of feet and accessories available to purchase separately for this machine too. Just click the link to visit our website and look for the Janome accessories, and if you need any help choosing, don't hesitate to contact us. We love sewing and we're here to support you after you purchase the machine from us too. I've given you a really good overview of the Janome 454D, but if I've left any of your questions unanswered, don't hesitate to contact us and we'll be very happy to help. All of our machines come with a full manufacturer's warranty, which is 2 years on this machine with the option to extend. And in the unlikely event that you have a problem, get in contact with us, and the majority of the time we can resolve any issues over the phone or email. But if this isn't the case, we will collect the machine and do everything for you. We offer the best prices, but if you do see this machine cheaper anywhere else, please get in contact and we'll be very happy to help. Your machine will be delivered by courier free of charge the next working day with a dedicated time slot, so you know exactly when to expect that happy post. I hope you're feeling super excited about your new overlocker, and thanks for watching.